The Phoenix Rising emerged from its final faster-than-light jump with the grace of a dancer, its distinctive plasma chambers pulsing with a soft azure glow against the stark backdrop of space. Through the crystalline observation windows of Galactic Hub Station, dozens of alien diplomats pressed forward, their varied anatomies creating a living tapestry of colors and forms as they gathered to witness humanity's first arrival at the Interstellar Council. Captain Marcus Wong stood on the bridge, his dark eyes reflecting the approaching station's glittering spires. Years of diplomatic training had prepared him for this moment, but nothing could have truly readied him for the sight of the massive structure that would dock Earth's first delegation. The station stretched before them like a blooming crystal flower, its petals housing the combined knowledge and power of 17 spacefaring civilizations. "They're scanning us, Captain," Sarah Chen reported from her engineering station, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Quite thoroughly, I might add." A slight smile played at the corners of her mouth as she monitored the incoming data. "They seem particularly interested in our propulsion system." "Let them look," Wong replied, straightening his midnight blue uniform. "That's half the plan, isn't it?" The Phoenix's approach drew more than just cursory scans. Through the ship's external cameras, Wong could see various alien vessels adjusting their positions to get a better view. The sleek antimatter drives of the Virkath ships gleamed like liquid mercury, while the crystalline quantum engines of the Murthy pulsed with rainbow light. Among such advanced designs, the Phoenix's plasma chambers must have seemed like stone tools in a room full of laser cutters. The first transmission arrived exactly as predicted. "Human vessel Phoenix Rising." A melodious voice chimed through the bridge speakers, its translator struggling to mask the underlying tone of amusement. "This is Ambassador Selrin of the Virkath Consensus. We appreciate your safe arrival. However, we notice your ship appears to be venting plasma at an alarming rate. Do you require assistance with your containment systems?" Wong shared a knowing look with Chen before responding. "Ambassador Selrin, we appreciate your concern. I assure you our systems are functioning exactly as designed." A pause then. "As designed? Surely you don't mean to suggest that such inefficient plasma containment is intentional?" "Our scans indicate your energy waste levels are nearly 40% above standard operation parameters." Chen's smile widened as she adjusted a setting, causing one of the plasma chambers to pulse slightly brighter. The immediate spike in scanning intensity from the Virkath vessels told her exactly what she wanted to know. They were watching, measuring, and completely misunderstanding what they saw. "We find our current configuration meets our needs adequately," Wong replied diplomatically. Through the viewport, he could see more alien ships gathering, their crews no doubt sharing the Virkath's assessment of human technology. "Perfect. Captain." Selrin's voice had taken on a paternal tone that made Wong's jaw tighten slightly. "While we commend Earth's achievement in reaching faster-than-light travel, surely you must realize the dangers of such primitive plasma containment methods. The Virkath would be happy to provide your engineers with basic tutorials on modern propulsion technology. For safety reasons, you understand." Chen's console chirped with another alert. "They're trying to access our technical databases now," she whispered, her dark eyes dancing with amusement. "Should I let them see the dummy files?" Wong nodded almost imperceptibly. Let them think they were being clever, sneaking peeks at intentionally flawed technical data. Every assumption they made about the Phoenix's capabilities worked in humanity's favor. "Your offer is noted with gratitude, Ambassador," Wong responded, maintaining his diplomatic composure. "For now, we'll proceed with docking as planned. Phoenix Rising. Out." As the channel closed, the bridge crew maintained their professional demeanor, even as suppressed smiles threatened to break through. Through the viewports, the gathered alien ships continued their scans, each no doubt cataloging what they saw as desperate engineering, held together by human stubbornness and hope. Let them look. Let them laugh. Let them underestimate. The Phoenix Rising carried more than just Earth's first delegation to the stars. It carried humanity's greatest advantage. the ability to turn misconception into opportunity. And when the time came, those plasma chambers would show the galaxy exactly what humanity could do with primitive technology. Deep within the Phoenix Rising's engineering bay, Sarah Chen's fingers traced patterns across holographic displays that would have puzzled even the most advanced alien scientists. The ship's primitive plasma chambers pulsed with carefully controlled power, each containment field masking innovations that had taken Earth's best minds decades to perfect. To untrained eyes, the readouts might have appeared chaotic, perhaps even dangerous. To Chen, they were poetry in motion. Engineering, status report on the containment grid. Captain Wang's voice carried through the comm system, steady and professional despite the continuing stream of patronizing messages from their alien hosts. Grid stability at 98%, Captain, Chen responded, allowing a touch of strain to enter her voice. All part of the performance. Though I'm having to compensate for some unexpected gravitational variations near the station's outer ring. Through her monitors, she watched as 3 different alien vessels immediately adjusted their scanning frequencies, no doubt expecting to witness a containment failure. Instead, they recorded exactly what the Phoenix wanted them to see: a ship struggling to maintain basic plasma containment, its systems laboring under the strain of normal operation. The truth, locked behind layers of quantum encryption in Chen's private console, told a different story. The Phoenix's plasma chambers weren't struggling. They were singing. Each fluctuation was precisely calculated, each power surge carefully orchestrated to appear as weakness while masking incredible strength. A sharp tone cut through her thoughts. Priority alert. Captain, Chen called out, her eyes scanning the incoming data. I'm picking up a distress signal. Civilian transport, designation Star Weaver, approximately 2 light minutes from the station. The bridge crew tensed. They had known this moment would come, had planned for it, trained for it. Still, the reality of watching events unfold exactly as predicted sent a chill down Chen's spine. Pirates. Wang's voice was grim. Targeting civilian vessels right under the Council's nose. Bold. Chen's displays filled with new data as the station's defense fleet mobilized. The Verkath's antimatter cruisers moved with liquid grace, while the Murthy's quantum ships seemed to bend space itself. Impressive technology, all of it. And, as Earth's intelligence had suggested, completely inadequate for the task at hand. Engineering. Wang's tone carried hidden meaning. Status of our backup systems. Chen's hands hovered over controls that could have ended the pirate threat in seconds. The Phoenix's true capabilities strained against their constraints like lightning in a bottle. All systems ready, Captain. But we're bound by first contact protocols, Wang finished. Maintain current status. Monitor and record only. Through her screens, Chen watched the unfolding disaster. The pirates' ships, ugly and brutal things, employed shield-piercing weapons that shouldn't have existed at their apparent technology level. The Council's defensive fleet, for all its advanced technology, found itself unable to prevent the civilian transports boarding. They're testing the station's defenses, Chen muttered, recording every detail of the attack. And the Council's response time. This isn't a random raid, it's reconnaissance. The Verkath ambassador's voice broke through the general communications channel, still managing to sound condescending despite the situation. Human vessel, please maintain your current position. Your unique energy signature might draw unwanted attention from the raiders. Chen bit back a laugh. If they only knew what that unique energy signature really meant. Instead, she focused on her readings, watching as the pirates efficiently disabled the Star Weaver's engines and began their boarding operation. The Council's defense fleet, hampered by their own protocols and technological assumptions, could only watch. Recording all tactical data, she reported quietly to Wang. Their shield frequencies, weapons configurations, ship classifications, everything we were told to look for. Sir, it's exactly as intelligence predicted. They're using modified Verkath technology. The implications hung in the air like a thundercloud. The pirates weren't just raiders, they were someone's deniable assets, testing the Council's defenses with stolen or secretly provided technology. And humanity, playing the role of the primitive newcomers, had a front-row seat to the show. Chen's hands remained steady over her controls, even as the Phoenix's plasma chambers hummed with restrained power. Not yet. Soon, but not yet. First, let them show us everything. Let them think us weak. Then we'll show them what primitive technology can really do. The massive pirate fleet tore through the fabric of space like a knife through silk, their arrival heralded by reality-bending ripples of faster-than-light transition. On the Phoenix Rising's bridge, Captain Wong watched as 37 warships materialized in precise attack formation. Their hulls bristled with weapons that shouldn't have existed in pirate hands, each vessel's profile a dark mirror of Virkath military design. "Well," Wong murmured, "I believe that confirms our intelligence about where they got their ships." The Council's defense fleet scattered like startled birds, their formations breaking apart as shield-piercing weapons cut through their supposedly impenetrable defenses. The Murthy quantum cruisers, pride of the Council's fleet, found their revolutionary phase-shifting technology useless against weapons specifically calibrated to track their dimensional signatures. "Sir," Chen's voice came through clear and sharp from engineering. "The pirates are using modified Virkath targeting systems. Their weapons are cinched to the exact frequencies the Council ships broadcast during standard operations." Wong nodded grimly, almost as if someone gave them the classified frequencies. The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, even as chaos erupted across all channels. The pirates struck with surgical precision, disabling key defensive platforms around the station while jamming emergency response signals. Through the viewport, Wong watched the Virkath flagship list to one side, its antimatter containment fields flickering ominously after a direct hit. "Captain Wong." Ambassador Selrin's voice crackled through their primary channel, the earlier condescension replaced by barely contained panic. "Our flagship's containment systems are critical. If they fail, the antimatter reaction will destroy half the station. We request immediate assistance." The bridge fell silent. This was the moment they had prepared for, the culmination of years of planning and patience. Wong stood from his command chair, straightening his uniform with deliberate care. "Ambassador," he replied, allowing a slight edge to enter his voice, "are you certain you wish assistance from our, what did you call it? Our primitive vessel?" A burst of weapons fire illuminated the viewport, casting harsh shadows across the bridge. The pirates were methodically dismantling the Council's defenses, their coordinated attacks speaking of professional military training rather than random raider violence. "Please," Selrin's voice cracked. "Our containment fields are failing. Whatever you can do. Anything." Wong's finger hovered over the command channel. "Engineer Chen, are you certain our systems are ready?" Chen's response carried the ghost of a smile. "The containment chambers are at optimal capacity, Captain. All systems are aligned and ready. Permission to show our guests what human engineering can really do." Through the external cameras, Wong watched as 3 pirate vessels broke from the main fleet, turning their attention toward the seemingly helpless Phoenix. Their sensor scans washed over the ship's hull, no doubt registering the same inefficient plasma signatures that had drawn such mockery earlier. Ambassador Selrin, Wong's voice carried the weight of authority earned through years of preparation. "I need you to broadcast to all Council vessels. Tell them to power down their shields on my mark." "Power down." The ambassador's voice rose an octave. "That would leave us completely defenseless." "Your shields are already useless against their weapons," Wong countered. "And I would rather not have our response affected by any electromagnetic interference from your defense systems." A moment of silence stretched across the channel. In that pause, Wong could almost hear the ambassador's worldview shifting, priorities realigning in the face of imminent destruction. "Very well," Selrin finally responded. "Council vessels, prepare to drop shields on the human captain's mark." Wong allowed himself a small smile. "Engineer Chen, initiate Project Helios." Show them exactly what our containment chambers were designed for." "With pleasure, sir." Chen's fingers flew across her console, releasing safety protocols, charging primary arrays. Time to light up the sky. The Phoenix's plasma chambers began to pulse with increasing intensity, their glow shifting from azure to brilliant white. The pirates, noticing the power surge, turned their full attention toward the human vessel. Their last mistake. "Now," Wong commanded, "let's show the galaxy what humanity can really do." The Phoenix Rising shed its gentle facade like a snake shedding its skin. The plasma chambers that had drawn such mockery now blazed with internal fire, their light drowning out the distant stars. In engineering, Sarah Chen's fingers danced across her controls with practiced precision, each command part of the sequence humanity had rehearsed for years. "Primary containment field modulation at 15%, she reported, her voice steady despite the excitement coursing through her. "Initiating particle excitation sequence." The pirates, perhaps sensing something amiss, opened fire. Their shield-piercing weapons, so devastating against Council vessels, splashed harmlessly against the Phoenix's hull. Not because of superior shielding, but because there were no shields to pierce. "What are they doing?" Ambassador Selrin's voice carried equal parts fear and fascination. "Their plasma containment fields, they're purposefully destabilizing them." Wong allowed himself a tight smile. "Not destabilizing, Ambassador. Focusing." The space around the Phoenix began to shimmer like air above hot pavement. What appeared to be random plasma venting transformed into precisely controlled streams of superheated particles, each stream guided by magnetic fields, so finely tuned they would have made a quantum physicist weep. "Particle density reaching critical threshold," Chen announced. "Field harmonics aligned. Ready for primary ignition, Captain." Wang's voice carried across all channels. "Council vessels, shields down. Now." The compliance was immediate. Dozens of ships powered down their defensive systems, their crews watching in tense silence as the Phoenix's plasma chambers pulsed with impossible brightness. "Execute," Wang commanded. Chen pressed her palm against the activation panel. The Phoenix's plasma chambers released their carefully contained power in a synchronized burst. But instead of the explosion the pirates likely expected, the energy coalesced into controlled streams of artificial solid fire. The first pirate vessel never stood a chance. The plasma stream bypassed its shields completely, the superheated particles following magnetic field lines that Chen had spent years learning to manipulate. The ship's hull glowed cherry red, then white, then simply ceased to exist as artificial solid fire consumed it from bow to stern. "Impossible," one of the pirate captains broadcast in panic. "Their weapons, they're using the same principles as our shield-piercing technology." "No," Chen whispered to herself as she directed another stream of plasma. "We're using the principles your scientists never thought to explore." The Phoenix began to move, its maneuvers unlike anything the gathered aliens had ever witnessed. Each turn, each acceleration created new magnetic field lines that Chen used to guide her plasma streams. The ship wasn't just fighting. It was conducting an orbital ballet of devastation. 3 more pirate vessels fell to the artificial solar flares before the others began to retreat. But Chen wasn't finished. The Phoenix's plasma chambers cycled to their secondary configuration, and the real show began. "Multiple containment field harmonics engaging," she reported, "creating localized stellar phenomena in 3, 2, 1. The space between the Phoenix and the pirate fleet erupted with miniature stars, each one a carefully controlled fusion reaction that lasted mere seconds. But seconds were all Chen needed. The stellar bursts chained together, creating a web of plasma that trapped the pirate vessels in killing zones of their own making. "By all the ancient stars," Ambassador Selrin breathed. "The plasma venting. It wasn't inefficiency at all. You were hiding a weapon system inside your propulsion technology." "Not just a weapon system," Wang corrected as another pirate ship succumbed to the Phoenix's stellar fire, an entirely new approach to space combat. "Sometimes, Ambassador, The simplest principles yield the most devastating results. The remaining pirate vessels attempted to break formation, but there was nowhere to run. The Phoenix had transformed the space around them into a deadly maze of artificial solar flares and plasma streams. Their advanced shields, designed to deflect energy weapons and particle beams, proved useless against what was essentially a localized star gone rogue. Chen allowed herself a small smile as she guided another plasma stream with surgical precision. Let them see now what human innovation could achieve. Let them understand that sometimes the most elegant solutions came from embracing what others saw as limitations. Sarah Chen had spent 15 years studying plasma dynamics, but this was the first time she'd conducted her symphony in actual combat. Her fingers moved across the control surfaces with practiced grace, each command bringing new streams of artificial solar fire to life. The Phoenix's plasma chambers hummed in perfect harmony, their power output precisely calibrated to create effects that defied conventional physics. Containment Field 6 showing slight variance, her assistant engineer reported, 0.03% above baseline. Compensating, Chen responded, making a minute adjustment that caused the errant plasma stream to spiral back into alignment. On her main display, the battlefield appeared as a three-dimensional chessboard, with plasma streams serving as both pieces and board lines. From the station's observation deck, the Virkath ambassador watched in stunned silence as the Phoenix orchestrated its deadly dance. What had appeared as clumsy plasma venting now revealed itself as an intricate system of magnetic field generators, each one capable of directing streams of superheated particles with surgical precision. Status report, Wang's voice carried across the command channel, steady as ever. Chen glanced at her readings. 14 hostile vessels contained within the primary engagement zone, 3 attempting to break through the northwestern plasma corridor, 2 more trying to slip under our ventral field lines. She allowed herself a small smile as she adjusted the containment fields. The pirates were learning, adapting their tactics to try to find holes in the Phoenix defenses. But what they didn't understand was that there were no holes. Every apparent gap was deliberately placed, every weakness carefully calculated to draw them exactly where she wanted them. "Watch this," she whispered to her assistant as she initiated a new sequence. The plasma streams began to pulse in synchronized patterns, creating interference waves that rippled through space. Where the waves intersected, micro-fusion reactions blossomed like tiny stars, herding the pirate vessels into ever-tightening kill zones. A warning tone chimed. One of the larger pirate vessels had activated some form of electromagnetic pulse generator, attempting to disrupt the Phoenix's plasma containment. Chen almost laughed. They still thought they were dealing with primitive technology. Interesting approach, she commented as she rerouted power through secondary systems. The pulse washed over the Phoenix's hull, and for a moment, their plasma streams wavered. The pirates surged toward the apparent weakness, exactly as planned. "Now," Chen commanded, her fingers dancing across the controls. The wavering plasma streams suddenly snapped back into focus, but with a new configuration. The pirates found themselves caught in a three-dimensional web of artificial solar flares, each attempt to escape only leading them deeper into the trap. "Chen," Wang's voice carried a note of curiosity. "Are you actually using their own engine wake signatures to guide your plasma streams?" "Yes, Captain," she confirmed, pride evident in her voice. "Their antimatter drives leave distinct gravitational ripples. Our plasma streams naturally follow these paths of least resistance. The more they try to escape, the more they help us target them." From her engineering station, Chen could see the battle reflected in her status displays. The Phoenix had transformed a sphere of space nearly 2 light minutes in diameter into an ever-shifting maze of plasma streams and artificial solar phenomena. Pirates who tried to flee found their escape routes cut off by precisely placed stellar filaments. Those who tried to fight back discovered their weapons dispersed harmlessly into the plasma streams, their energy only adding to Chen's resources. "Look at the field geometry," her assistant breathed, pointing to a particularly elegant conjunction of plasma streams. "It's beautiful." Chen nodded. Beauty in physics had always been her guide. Where others saw chaos in plasma dynamics, she saw patterns. Where they saw limitations, she saw possibilities. Now those patterns were writing themselves across space in letters of fire, teaching the galaxy a lesson about underestimating human ingenuity. Primary containment grid holding at 98% efficiency, she reported. Secondary and tertiary fields maintaining optimal alignment. We can keep this up as long as necessary, Captain. The Phoenix continued its deadly ballet, its plasma chambers singing their song of controlled power. In the distance, more pirate vessels discovered too late that retreat wasn't an option. They had walked into humanity's web, and now they would learn exactly what primitive technology could accomplish in the hands of those who truly understood its potential. The pirate fleet's confidence shattered like glass against the Phoenix's display of power. Their remaining vessels, still impressive in number but shaken in spirit, began emergency faster-than-light spin-ups. Emergency channels filled with chatter as captains calculated escape vectors, their earlier bravado replaced by desperate coordination. Multiple FTL signatures building, Chen reported from engineering, her hands never stopping their intricate dance across the controls. 19 vessels attempting emergency transitions. Their drive signatures match Virkath military patterns, definitely stolen technology. Captain Wang's voice remained calm. Time to show them our second surprise, Engineer Chen. Deploy the containment net. Through the Phoenix's external cameras, Chen watched as the pirate vessels aligned themselves for FTL jumps. Their antimatter drives pulsed with increasing power, creating the gravitational distortions necessary for faster-than-light travel. Under normal circumstances, they would have vanished into the safety of hyperspace. These were not normal circumstances. Initiating wide-spectrum plasma field modulation, Chen announced, her fingers executing the complex sequence she had practiced countless times in simulation, redirecting power from primary weapon systems to spatial containment grid. The Phoenix's plasma chambers, still glowing with controlled power, began to pulse in a new rhythm. Instead of projecting focused streams of artificial solar fire, they now created expanding waves of precisely tuned plasma that rippled through space like rings in a pond. Impossible. The Virkath ambassador's voice cracked with disbelief. They're generating some kind of localized space-time distortion field. Not generating, Chen corrected quietly, though she knew the ambassador couldn't hear. Revealing. The field was always there. We just needed the pirates to power up their FTL drives first. The first pirate vessel attempted its jump to faster-than-light speed. For a moment, its form began to blur as it crossed the threshold between normal space and hyperspace. Then, with a flash of displaced energy, it snapped back into reality like a rubber band. What have you done? The pirate captain's transmission carried equal parts rage and fear. Our FTL drive is at full power, but we can't break through. Wang allowed himself a small smile. Engineer Chen, would you care to explain to our guests what they're experiencing? Chen's voice carried the quiet pride of a scientist sharing her life's work. Your faster-than-light drives create gravitational distortions to punch through the fabric of space-time. But those distortions follow predictable patterns, patterns we can detect, analyze, and counter. Our plasma containment technology isn't just for weapons. It allows us to create a localized field that prevents the formation of stable FTL corridors. The remaining pirate vessels scattered, trying different vectors, different power configurations, anything to break free of the Phoenix's invisible cage. But each attempt at faster-than-light travel ended the same way, with ships snapping back into normal space, trapped by forces they couldn't even detect. The containment field is holding, Chen reported, making minor adjustments as she spoke. Their drive signatures are actually helping to reinforce it. The more power they pour into their engines, the stronger our field becomes. From the station's observation deck, the Virkath ambassador watched in stunned silence as humanity's primitive technology systematically dismantled centuries of assumptions about space warfare. The Phoenix hadn't just developed a new weapons system, It had created a way to deny the very freedom of movement that spacefaring civilizations took for granted. All enemy vessels are now contained within our field, Chen confirmed. They can run, but they quite literally cannot hide. Not anymore. Wang's voice carried across all channels, addressing both allies and enemies. To all pirate vessels, your faster-than-light capabilities have been neutralized. Your weapons are ineffective against our defenses. Your shields cannot protect you from our attacks. I suggest you power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. One by one, the trapped pirate ships cut power to their engines. Their crews had finally understood the truth that the Council races were just beginning to grasp. Humanity hadn't come to the stars as primitive newcomers seeking protection. They had come as innovators who had turned their supposed technological limitations into unprecedented advantages. The Phoenix's plasma chambers pulsed steadily, maintaining the containment field that held nearly 20 ships in its invisible grip. Chen watched her displays with satisfaction, knowing that this demonstration would change the balance of power in ways the galaxy's oldest civilizations never could have predicted. In the battle's aftermath, the Phoenix Rising hung in space like a sleeping giant, its plasma chambers now pulsing with their familiar azure glow. The captured pirate vessels clustered nearby, their crews secured by Council security forces who had finally found their footing in the crisis's wake. From her engineering station, Sarah Chen monitored the containment field's power-down sequence with methodical precision. Final plasma harmonics returning to standard operational parameters, she reported, her fingers moving through the shutdown procedure with practiced ease. All systems nominal, Captain. Well done, Engineer Chen, Wang replied from the bridge. I believe we've given our audience quite enough to think about for one day. The Council's emergency response channels had fallen into an almost reverent silence. The initial shock of the Phoenix's display had given way to something deeper, a fundamental reassessment of everything they thought they knew about human technological capabilities. Ambassador Selrin's transmission carried none of his earlier condescension. Captain Wang, the Council requests your presence for an immediate emergency session. We have many questions. I'm sure you do, Ambassador, Wang responded, adjusting his uniform as he prepared to leave the bridge. Engineer Chen will accompany me. I believe her technical expertise will be invaluable for this discussion. Chen smiled as she initiated the final shutdown sequence. The Phoenix's true nature, Project Helios, had been Earth's most closely guarded secret for over a decade. While other nations poured resources into matching alien technology, humanity had taken a different approach, perfecting and expanding upon fundamental principles that other species had abandoned in their rush toward antimatter drives and quantum fields. The containment field modifications were brilliant, her assistant commented as they reviewed the battle data. Using their own FTL signatures to reinforce our plasma network, nobody could have predicted that. That was the point, Chen replied, rising from her station. We knew we couldn't match their technology directly, so we developed systems they wouldn't think to defend against. Sometimes the best path forward isn't trying to catch up, but finding a new road entirely. The walk to the Council chamber gave Chen time to appreciate the architectural marvel of the station. Crystal spires stretched overhead, their surfaces now reflecting the light of the Phoenix's gently pulsing plasma chambers. Council members from 17 species lined the chamber, their attention fixed on the human delegation with new respect. Project Helios, Wang began once the formal greetings were complete, represents humanity's understanding that true innovation doesn't always mean pursuing the most advanced technology. Sometimes it means looking at basic principles from new angles. Chen stepped forward, activating a holographic display that detailed the Phoenix's systems. Our plasma containment technology serves multiple functions: propulsion, defense, and tactical operations. While other species focused on increasing power output, we focused on control. The ability to manipulate plasma with precise magnetic fields opened doors that traditional energy weapon research never considered. The Virkath ambassador leaned forward, his silver scales catching the light. The shield-piercing weapons we detected on the pirate vessels, they were based on classified military technology. Technology that was stolen from our secure facilities. We know, Wang replied calmly. That's why we designed our systems specifically to counter them. The pirates weren't just testing your defenses, they were testing stolen Virkath technology against Council security. We simply arranged to be here when they did. A murmur ran through the assembled Council members. The implications were clear. Earth had not only developed revolutionary defensive technology, but had also uncovered a plot that threatened the Council's stability. Your primitive plasma containment, another Council member observed, was actually a sophisticated system for generating controlled stellar phenomena. You turned our assumptions about your technological limitations into a tactical advantage. Chen nodded, pulling up more detailed schematics. Humanity's approach has always been to understand fundamental principles deeply rather than simply adopting advanced technology we don't fully comprehend. The Phoenix isn't just a warship. It's a demonstration of what can be achieved when you stop trying to match someone else's path and forge your own instead. 3 months after the Battle of Galactic Hub Station, the Phoenix Rising prepared for its departure. The ship's plasma chambers pulsed with their characteristic azure glow, but this time, no one mistook it for technological weakness. In the intervening months, the vessel had become a symbol of innovation across known space, its design principles studied in engineering academies on 100 worlds. Sarah Chen stood at her engineering station, monitoring the final calibrations before departure. The displays showed a steady stream of data from the newly installed sensor networks, a gift from the Council in exchange for human plasma containment expertise. The integration of alien scanning technology with their systems had opened new possibilities she was eager to explore. Final pre-departure checks complete, Captain, she reported, allowing herself a small smile. All systems operating at optimal efficiency. Thank you, Engineer Chen, Wang replied from the bridge. Though I notice you didn't specify which definition of optimal you're using this time. Their shared laugh carried none of the tension from 3 months ago. The Council had finally accepted that humanity's approach to space technology, while different, was no less sophisticated than their own. In fact, the combination of human plasma control techniques with alien sensor technology had already led to breakthroughs in stellar navigation and defense systems. Captain Wang, Ambassador Selrin's voice carried across the comm channel, now warm with genuine respect. The Council's escort fleet stands ready to accompany the Phoenix on its maiden patrol of the border regions. The escort fleet represented something unprecedented. Ships from 17 different species, all modified to incorporate elements of human plasma containment technology. The sight of Virkath antimatter cruisers sporting carefully regulated plasma chambers alongside their traditional drives would have been unthinkable just months ago. Acknowledged, Ambassador, Wang responded, though I'm not sure we need an escort anymore. The word about our capabilities has spread quite effectively. Indeed it had. The captured pirates had revealed a complex network of technology theft and illegal weapons development that had threatened the Council's stability. The Phoenix's demonstration of power, combined with its ability to prevent FTL escape, had sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld. Pirate activity in Council space had dropped to historic lows. Engineering updates from the Joint Development Project are encouraging, Chen reported, reviewing the latest data. The Murthy have successfully integrated our plasma control systems with their quantum field generators. Initial tests show a 30% increase in efficiency. The project she referred to had become the Council's largest collaborative engineering initiative. Teams from every member species worked together, combining their unique technological approaches in ways that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. The Phoenix's design had shown them that innovation didn't mean abandoning their traditional technologies. It meant finding new ways to use them. You know, Wang mused as they prepared for departure, I remember when they laughed at our primitive containment systems. Now they're incorporating plasma chambers into their newest ships. Chen nodded, watching as her assistant trained a Virkath engineer on the finer points of plasma field modulation. Sometimes the best teachers are those who learn their lessons the hard way. We didn't just show them new technology. We showed them new ways of thinking about the technology they already had. The Phoenix's departure from Galactic Hub Station marked more than just the beginning of a new patrol route. It represented humanity's full integration into the galactic community, not as junior members seeking protection, but as innovators who had earned their place among the stars. As the ship moved away from the station, its plasma chambers creating subtle ripples in space, Chen reflected on how far it had come. The Phoenix had proven that true advancement didn't always mean pursuing the most complex solution. Sometimes it meant looking at simple principles from new angles, finding potential where others saw limitations. "Course laid in, Captain," she reported as the escort fleet fell into formation around them. "Ready to show the galaxy what else humanity can do." "Always, Engineer Chen," Wang replied. "After all, innovation never sleeps. Let's light up the sky." The Phoenix Rising led its escort fleet into the darkness between stars, its plasma chambers glowing with contained power. Behind them, the station's crystalline spires reflected their light like a farewell salute. Ahead lay new horizons, new challenges, and new opportunities to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in matching other civilizations' paths, but in blazing their own.